Hello and welcome to the 2014 Santa Clarita City Council Candidates Forum.
Hello, my name is Dante Acosta. It's my pleasure to be with you here today. My wife Carolyn and I fell in love with Santa Clarita over 27 years ago. We moved here, started a family, and have been proud to raise our 3 children here ever since in Canyon Country. I have a small business background, and for over 20 years as a financial advisor, I have worked with individuals and small business owners on their investment and retirement needs, which makes me uniquely qualified to serve on our City Council. Santa Clarita is an amazing community and has had a great first 25 years. Here's what you can expect from me when elected. I will work to attract high-paying jobs, work hand in hand with the Chamber of Commerce, the Valley Industry Association, the Economic Development Corporation, the city, and others to bring new employers to Santa Clarita. Let's make small business a priority. Let's make it easier to do business in Santa Clarita and by cutting red tape to help create more jobs. I will work to improve traffic flow by synchronizing our lights and building new roads. I will work with public safety. I will work with our sheriff's departments, our fire department to help reduce crime, graffiti, drugs, to make our city safer. Let's expand educational youth and senior programs by developing more parks and by building a new senior center and funding that they can rely on. I will help to maintain fiscal responsibility, and of course we can't ignore the important issues like Whitaker Burmite, Cemex, and of course the chloride tax scam. I'm a collaborator who will work to get things done, and I'll help restore civility to the City Council. Vote Dante Acosta on April 8th. Thank you.
Do you think we should change anything about the structure of the current form of city government? For example, the number of seats on city council, having an elected mayor, having city council members elected by district, etc.
Well, that's ultimately up to the voters to decide whether or not we expand the city council or go to districts. And of course, I would have on the city council, I'd have a voice on that. And I think as our city continues to grow, we're going to need to look at perhaps adding city council members with an eye toward what that will cost in additional expenses to add those city council people. As far as districting, I've come out against that. I think it increases the cost of government. It puts a lot of mini fiefdoms in place, perhaps, that we would have people fighting over what kind of projects they can do in their part of town. The current system, it works, however, it does need some tweaking, and I think one of the things that we need to do is continue to look at what each council person's role is and how they see their role. And I would see my role as someone who can be a great collaborator and continue to work well with the remaining city council. Thank you.
The city is looking at a billboard proposal from Metro. What do you think the city should do about this? The proposal as it stands in front of the city council is for Metro to remove the billboards on their right-of-way. I would love to see our city being beautified. However, I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered with this particular proposal. I believe very passionately that we need to make sure that we protect our small business community, and we need to make sure that we're listening to our small business community. One of the reasons I am running is because I've heard from so many small business owners in the city that the city doesn't listen to them, doesn't work with them, doesn't cooperate with them. Whether or not that's 100% true, the fact remains is that that's their perception. And in this particular proposal, we also need to listen to the citizens of Santa Clarita. Putting large electronic billboards on our freeways, we need to listen to the people that are going to be directly impacted by that. And what I pledge to do is listen to all sides of an issue like this and make a decision that is in the best interest for the entire Santa Clarita Valley. Thank you.
Should the Santa Clarita Valley's emergency winter shelter be available year-round to serve the entire Santa Clarita Valley population? And if so, where should it be located?
The homeless shelter year-round proposal is something that I very much support if we can find the funding for it. And I think that's what's being said here today. It's important that we as a community take care of people that are less fortunate, have fallen on hard times, or have an issue that they need that kind of support, whether it's a homeless shelter, whether it's food for our children. But in addition to that, looking at our senior population, as our community continues to age, I think we need to make sure that we have the funding there for that as well. I would be very open to finding an appropriate location for a homeless shelter, as long as it's not, it is a true bridge to home as one of our organizations in the community, that we can find people the new skills and find them an ability to get back on their feet and move on to permanent housing. That would be great.
What do you think is the proper role of a city council member in terms of managing staff?
primary role of managing staff in the city does fall on the city manager, but keep in mind the city council does hire the city manager. So in that regard, we will have indirect oversight. I think what has to happen, and what I think I can bring to the table, is where we can have a process where we can work together. As far as the day-to-day operations, I don't believe that city council members should be involved in that process of micromanaging the city staff. We should have input, we should have oversight, and we should continue to communicate and collaborate with the city manager and other senior city staff in order to make sure that City Hall is running smoothly.
The city of Santa Clarita has successfully had well over 20 annexations. At times, annexations are revenue neutral, meaning they don't cost the city anything. Other times, the annexations bring money to us as a result of increased sales tax, and there are times we'd actually lose money. Would you vote yes or no to annex Stevenson Ranch, West Ranch into the city of Santa Clarita?
I've met with many stakeholders on the west side, in Stevenson Ranch and West Ranch, and I would absolutely vote yes. I think without looking at the numbers, it would definitely be revenue positive for the city. But keep in mind that what happens on the west side, Castaic, other areas of our valley, does affect the city. So things like crime, traffic, business experience, those types of things where all affect us in a positive or negative way, and I believe that we should have influence on that. I think we have neighbors and friends and people that we work with, go to church with, go to school with from the west side, and I would welcome them into the city should they decide that that's something that they would like to do. In addition to that, I'll continue my outreach to folks on the west side and continue a dialogue because, again, they are our neighbors and we need to treat them as such.
In order to encourage economic growth, the city regularly supports businesses with either tax incentives or subsidies to bring more jobs to Santa Clarita. If elected, what types of these incentives or subsidies would you propose?
Well, subsidies and tax incentives are only one possible way that we can increase a business here. The other thing that we can do is eliminate red tape throughout the city. If we make it easier for businesses to come here, relocate here, and grow jobs here, then they will come. The other issue I think that is very important is we continue to work with our Economic Development Corporation, our Chambers of Commerce, our educational communities here. We have several colleges, our colleges and universities here, and we need to continue to work with them as far as the education process. But one additional thing I think we want to make sure that we're not missing from the puzzle. Continue to fight the encroachment of the county, the state, and the federal government with regulatory processes that will harm our business community. Continue to be advocates for our business community and make sure that we're going out there and we're fighting back on those issues. And continue our public safety stance. Make sure this is a safe, clean city, because if it's a safe, clean city as it is, we will continue to attract and grow and maintain new jobs. Thank you.
When is it appropriate for the city to use public tax dollars to support services that the county is responsible for funding? Can you provide an example?
This is very simple for me. Any area of public health and safety that the county may be falling down on, if we can, we need to step up to the plate and make sure that we maintain law and order, health, and safety in our community, so it will continue to be a great place to live. In addition to that, I am a very strong advocate and have come out for our senior center. The $700,000 number that's thrown around, a lot of that money is pass-throughs from the county, state, federal levels. We need to make sure that we, as a community, will take care of the people that helped build this community, build this nation, and that's our seniors. A lot of us, as we age in this community and our community is aging, are going to need some of the resources that can be there. So we need to put adequate funding behind it directly from the city that the senior center can rely on. Perhaps we need to look at building a new senior center, and I will work to get that done, and also satellite locations so that our seniors don't have to take dial-a-ride or whatever, hitch a ride to get across town to get the resources that are available in our senior center. And I will make sure that we get that accomplished.